Look at this weather, guys. I just wanted to do a quick video to show which roses can support themselves, especially in the rain, and which are a bit too floppy. So here, this one is Emma Bridgewater, that seems to be unaffected by the rain. This is Donahue, again, strong enough stems not to worry about the rain. Stacia Vi, still bolt upright, nice thick strong stems. Gabriel Lake has become very, very floppy here, except for this one cane that's really, really thick. So hopefully over time that will thicken up and be a bit stronger, but at the moment this side is very floppy. Olivia seems to be unaffected. This is new young Lycidas. I think if it had more flowers it would struggle. See here, this is starting to come down because it's a bit heavier. So I think that would be floppy if there were more buds and flowers. Harlow Car, definitely starting to flop here. And you can tell that by the one I have in the front. Golden Celebration, it seems to be able to support itself nicely. This is another Gabriel Lake, but you can see it kind of starting to flop here. Golden Celebration again. Yeah, this one's got blooms on and it's not flopping down. And the blooms are quite heavy and it's big on Golden Celebration, so that's okay. This lemon tree, all the new growth is starting to fall down. We took the shed down so I could move a lot of the excess stuff. Still need to take it to the dump, but yeah, we've got a bit of extra space here for a seating area now. But this Emily Bronte, again, unaffected, really, really strong, upright stems. A little bit too upright for a standard, I think. I think that's one. I'm moving some stuff around in the garden, and I think that's one that I might have to move out. It's still blooming though. Septidile, this is a young plant, but I've had to put all of these supports in because otherwise it just lays on the floor. Bathsheba here is much more vigorous than the Pilgrim. The Pilgrim was planted first, and this Bathsheba is already trailing up the fence, so Bathsheba is definitely more vigorous than the Pilgrim. Anyway, back to these. So Jubilee Celebration, that's kind of starting to flop under the weight of those, but that's unsurprising. There's quite a few flowers here. I'll take this out. You can see here quite a few flowers, and that stem is bending. The ones that only have one flower are doing okay, but the ones where there's multiple buds and multiple flowers, definitely starting to flop. This is Fruity Parfuma. That's a little bit more upright. Doesn't seem to be too floppy despite being very young. Some cake blooms. And then the Poet's Wife, that's always quite floppy to the... I've actually put stakes in on this one because the Poet's Wives that I had in the front garden actually snapped in the rain and the wind, so kind of tried to get ahead of that one. This is Evelyn. Lots and lots of new growth here, but I had actually staked that because it couldn't support itself under the weight of the flowers. It had so many. And then here, the bits of Gertrude, Ducal that aren't tied in, definitely floppy. There we go. These are the ones in the front garden from my front window, so I don't have to brave going outside again. This one's Vanessa Bell. It is a little bit floppy, especially when there's lots of blooms. I actually had to tie some of the branches together so that some of the stronger canes could support some of the weaker canes. So that is kind of in the middle. Elizabeth, mostly really strong canes. couple of the newer ones here that are flopping down a little bit, but most of the canes are really thick and very upright, even when they've got bud bloom. And then here, just doing a voiceover here because the audio is so terrible, but this is Lady of Shalott, and the canes are finally starting to grow, but they're quite long, upright, and a little bit floppy. I think if they had blooms on the end, they'd definitely be weighing down whilst they're young. So yeah, that's that one. And this one is the Harlow Car, which looks beautiful when it is not in bud and bloom. But when it has lots and lots of bud and flowers, as it seems to all at once, it starts to get a little bit floppier. But I'm really hoping that strengthens up, because the fragrance of it is awesome. It's definitely one that you can smell the old rose fragrance as you walk past in the sun. So I'm pinning hopes on that one.